Hey, you guys. Hello, 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 hello. Now, as you can probably tell by the hat, we're not doing Sherlock today, but we are open. We're open for, as you can see in the title, they're letting the parents are letting anybody watch their children. We are open for babysitting today. Now, I don't want to scare you guys, but I'm going to remove my glasses. Scott,
Who
I
is this person?
I have transformed. We'll say it's a full moon, but I'm not a werewolf today. I'm a vampire because we're going to review My Babysitter is a Vampire by Ann Hodgman. So, Scott, have you ever read this book before when you were a kid? It's one of my favorite books.
I have not. I believe it might be a little past my time, but I don't know when it was written exactly.
Let me look in the front. It was written in 1991. Yeah, it was way past your time. I was a kid then. Scott was not so much. So this is My Babysitter is a Vampire. I have the whole series. So if this does well, I'll just do the whole series. I love this series. Do you have any idea what it's about, Scott?
I'm guessing it's about a kid who has a babysitter that's a vampire.
Yes, and not to be mistaken, because they did a show called My Babysitter is a Vampire. I think they just did an apostrophe, so it's My Babysitter's a vampire. Like that's probably how they got around it. It's not that show, it's a Canadian show. It's really good. I actually watched it. My kid, came up during that era. It's actually really good. This is not that. This is a book from 1991. That came out in
So no release.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know anything about it, but I know there's a show called that, a Canadian show, but it's not that. So yes, it is about kids who got a babysitter that is a vampire. He's here. Boom. I'm giving vampire. I'm giving Elvira. At least that. I hope to be given at least that. So anyway, let's get started. Are you curious to know what's going on in this book, Scott?
That's why I'm here today.
There might be blood in here. Y'all don't know. Okay, so it starts off with the narrator. Her name is Meg Swan, or Swan. Swan is her last name, Meg Swan. And her little brother, Trevor, they're waving at the ferry that's leaving the island, and they're waving at their babysitter, Libby, who, is leaving. And Libby is going off to go to horse camp. And, Meg is feeling some kind of way about it because she's like, how dare she leave us? Like, how could you just leave us here to go do your own thing and go to horse camp? By the way, Meg is 11, Trevor is 6. And so, Meg kind of, throws the situation out there. So they are from like New York. Her dad is a screenplay writer. And her mom is going to medical school. She's a medical school student. I guess she's doing her, oh my gosh, why I can't. Yeah, she's doing her residency part. So they come to the island. They only come to the island during the summer from New York. It's an island in Maine or something. So they go to this island so her father can write his scripts, but she said he never really gets it right. And so Libby watches them when the mom has to do her residency at night. I don't know what the dad is doing at night, why he can't be there with the children. It don't say. Scott, what do you think the dad's doing?
Maybe he actually has some he was a screenwriter or a playwriter, you said, sorry?
He's a screenwriter who works on movie projects.
Maybe they're doing some filming in the same area that they're vacationing in, and he has to work on that.
He up to no good. So anyway, that's my thought process. That's my thought process. He up to no good. So, because why you can't be there with them children?
Good question.
It's a good question. Like I was reading it, as a kid, you don't think about it, but now as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute, where are you going, sir? Why you can't watch them kids at night? Where are you going at nighttime? As a screenwriter, you supposed to be writing your script. It's starting to give The Shining a little bit, but it's not. It's not The Shining. He's not the perp. The babysitter is. I shouldn't say perp. The villain. So yeah. So that's what they're doing. So again, with Meg being 11, she's like on the cusp of like, can you be at home by yourself? The mama says no. So they have to have a babysitter, but Libby's gone. And this is an island where a lot of people clearly come and, vacation. And so, they have to have a babysitter. So mom is scrambling, trying to get a babysitter. Now, Meg also has a best friend. His name is Jack. I like Jack a lot. And let me tell you why. Because Jack has a lot of my personality traits. Jack is like fearless. Jack is like, let's just do it. Like, ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time. Let's just get this done. He's a go-getter. So I like Jack. So Meg is complaining to Jack, like, I don't know why they won't just let me babysit. Like, this is embarrassing. I'm older. Jack gets to watch himself. He's the only child. Jack gets to watch himself. Why can't I watch myself? And Jack's like, just tell your parents I'll come help. And the parents just are like, no, we'll get anybody but you and Jack to, watch ourselves. No. So the first babysitter, so this is where babysitter auditions start. The first babysitter just didn't even show up. I guess she ain't want her money. She didn't want to make that money. The second one.
So what happened that night then? The babysitter didn't show up, but she had to stay by herself?
They didn't say, Scott. This book is only 120 something pages. They you're thinking Stephen King novel.
Right.
This is questions. Scott just likes to ask every kind of question. This is what Scott does. He asks all kinds of questions that are not going to push the story forward. Y'all get ready for that.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking she wants to babysit herself, and if the babysitter
and her 6-year-old brother.
I'm just thinking the babysitter didn't show up and the mom still had to go to work. It was kind of an audition for her.
That's not how the mom felt.
Okay. Well,
it's nuanced.
We'll move on.
This is not pushing the story forward. So we got babysitter auditions. First one didn't show up. The second one, Meg said, like, as soon as the parents hit the door, again, where's the father going? We don't know. As soon as the parents hit the door, she grabbed the phone and just stayed on that sucker. And for those who are younger, who, came up during the cell phone era, let me explain how it worked with house phones. With the house phone, if you didn't have call waiting or a second line, it's the truth. Scott.
Yeah, I mean, when I was babysat age, you didn't have a call waiting or second line either.
No.
Just busy city.
Yeah, and so you can't get through. So Meg's mom was trying to get through because she forgot to leave the number to where she was with the babysitter. She kept trying to get through and it just stayed busy the whole time. And she's like, oh, so you just gonna watch my children and not leave the phone clear? So Meg said her mom came to the house and just fired the babysitter on the spot and was like, go away. Don't ever darken our doorstep again. Running up our phone bill. So the third babysitter, because we're still auditioning here, third babysitter came, and you know how, like, well, I don't know if anybody knows or if anybody has babysat before, but you'll say, oh, help yourself to whatever in the fridge. Well, she took it literally and ate a whole cheesecake.
A good cheesecake.
Let me tell you something. No, the answer would be it's no for me. I would have been upset, Scott. If I had bought a cheesecake, I don't care if it's Sara Lee Cheesecake Factory, it don't matter. If I didn't bought a cheesecake and I come home and I got my mouth ready for some cheesecake and it's gone, fire in the city.
Yeah, I get it.
Fire in the city.
to eat a whole cheesecake.
A whole cheesecake. Didn't think to like save somebody a slice or two. You can count how many people in the family. It's 4. There's the mom, the dad, Trevor, and Meg. You couldn't have left 4 slices. Even 4 thin slices would have been better than what she did. I'm sorry. I was irritated reading the book and reading that part. I was like, girl, what?
Maybe she's practicing for the Cheesecake Factory challenge.
Do that on your own time. You're being paid. They ain't paying you to be a competitive eater. Okay? That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, so we got rid of the no-show, phone hog,
Mm-hmm.
and a glutton.
Yes, pretty much. Yes, exactly. Ding, 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 what Scott said. So one day, mom is sitting at dinner and she's like, "Boom! I found y'all the perfect. I got y'all the perfect babysitter, the best, the GOAT. We don't need to look no more." And so they're like, "Oh, who is she?" And she was like, "She ain't a she. She is a he.
Oh.
She is a he. His name is Vincent. I met him at the blood bank.
Oh.
You know, he's a blood bank volunteer, or he works there part-time. And I love his mannerisms. He's super polite. He speaks old English. That's not weird. You know, and yeah, he's a little pale, but that's fine. And so what we're going to do is he's going to come over tonight so y'all can have an intro and, you know, y'all can see if y'all like him, if he like you. And then guess what? He's going to be your babysitter going forward. Now, I would like to point out one thing, and I forgot. I have it flagged, and I already am out of sequence as we do here. Number 1, this is a picture book. It doesn't have like as many pictures as like some like Cam Jensen. That's like a picture of every book. It has sporadic pictures. And I think the pictures are so super artistic and beautiful. Like seeing them again from my childhood, like just brought back memories. But the art is really good in here. So, okay, let's go back to when Libby was leaving and they were on the pier like, "Oh my God, Libby, we gonna miss you, girl." There were people getting off the ferry. Libby got on, but people were getting off. And they saw a dude who got off carrying a casket, you know, just carrying a casket. It's just what you do when you get off the ferry. This is what we're doing. When we get off the ferry, we're just carrying our casket. We're just like, boom, let's just get this on our shoulder and let's just boom. It looks like a funeral. It looks like a funeral. We are one-man funeral service, period. So, you know, again, the pictures in here are like super dope. Really very, you know, they're kind of just looking at him. He's one arm carrying the casket. It's pretty strong. Ronnie Coleman comes to mind. We just saw him somewhere, you know, deadlifting the casket. So, okay, so mom's like, okay, once we get done with dinner, he's gonna come over. So we're back to this dinner thing where mom's like, "I got the best babysitter ever." Like, I feel like a rapper right there, Scott. A vampire rapper. Maybe I need to end this YouTube thing and just go to being a vampire rapper. Yeah. Look at me. Tapping deep. So anyway.
That hasn't been explored yet.
With some Mickey Mouse ears, hats, and stuff. Period. Well, I feel like I'm kind of going vampire Lestat. He became a rocker.
You did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, one day I'm going to do that book too. Scott thinks Anne Rice is not a good writer. I'll prove him wrong. Huh?
Getting crucified.
As you should. So, speaking of crucifixes and crosses and such, here comes Vincent. He's just like, boom. So, you know, Meg opens the door, and why is it that she sees the dude here that was carrying this casket that day Why is he the one sitting at the door? This is Vincent here. This is Vincent. Now, they have a cat named Pooch. Pooch. And Pooch is said to be like the most friendliest cat ever. Like anybody is there, Pooch is on them. If, they say Pooch is like a dog. That's why they call him Pooch. Well, Trevor came to the door and Pooch was like, absolutely not. Pooch was having none of it. Pooch was like, what is this? What are those? Remember when that train was going on? What are those? But like, what is Trevor? So, I'm sorry. What is Vincent? I'm sorry, wrong one. What is Vincent? Who is this? Who is this? That's a mess. So, the cat is scared. So here are the list of grievances that Meg had with Vincent. The cat did not like Vincent. She said his hand felt like a leather glove with ice in it. It was cold, but my hands are like that. So what's she trying to say? She said his smile looked like a muscle spasm. And I was just like, girl, what does that look like in smile form? Scott, show me muscle spasm smile. I feel like I'm a vampire, so I'm doing it right. And his teeth were pointed. And the parents were like, we don't care about none of it. So she's like, after Vincent left, she's telling her parents, like, this dude is super weird. And they're like, but he's your babysitter. And we don't care because we need a babysitter. So get over it. Move on. So what? He's a teenager. Maybe he shaves his teeth down into points.
Okay. Well.
So what? His hand is cold. Maybe he has what I have with cold hands.
So there's grace for that, but not teenagers that talk on phones or teenagers that eat lots of cheesecake.
Scott, the mom said he talks well. He bows after, as they leave, he's giving bows. And she just felt like he was a well-rounded individual.
Okay.
Move on. And the cat, she was like, well, you can't win them all. He like 99.9% of the people. He gonna be watching y'all at night. Get over it. We didn't bring you. This is a dictatorship, not a democracy. We didn't ask for your opinion. So time goes on, and we're getting to Vincent's first babysitting night. And basically Meg said it's kind of weird. It was a little weird. Trevor, her little brother, didn't notice because he's 6. He's just like, oh my God, it's a boy babysitter. That's so fun. Usually I have a girl babysitter. This is going to be so awesome. So he didn't notice nothing. Meg is over there just like, this is not my jam. This is not my jam. And let me tell you what parts were not her jam. This is what she felt was off the Richter scales. She said he kept looking at them like they were food. So you know what I imagine? Remember Looney Tunes? Remember when they would be in the desert and they were hungry and like the one dude, the skinny dude, would look like a hot dog and then the other dude would look like a burger to the hot dog dude? And they were just looking at each other. I feel like that's how Vincent was looking at them. Yeah, and he did that. So, Trevor's like, oh, come in here and play with me and my dinosaurs. And so Vince is like, cool, yeah, I love that. And so Trevor's like telling him this is a T-Rex. And Vincent's like, he eats meat and drinks blood. And so every dinosaur, he was like, oh, this one rips flesh off. He loved it. He was like, this is great. And so finally, Meg is like, here, let me get you this vegan one so you can shut up. And so, and Mom did not cook. Dad, I don't know why he left for the night. He's just gone. So they ordered out pizza. And it's pizza. It's like cheese, pepperoni pizza. Vincent is not having it. He's just freaking out. And she goes and figures out why, because there's garlic all over it. There's garlic. And he just can't handle it. He's just like, no, ew, that's so gross. And so after the garlic gate, he just sends them to bed. He's like, go to bed. And they're like, dude, it's like 3:00 p.m. And he's like, go to bed now. Period. So, he sends them to bed. And Meg is just up, and she just is not getting she ain't getting a good reading from Vincent. She's just not. So she can't go to sleep. It wasn't 3:00. It was nighttime, but it was like early, like 7. So anyway, Meg, and it's summertime. It's summertime for these kids. So they want to hang out. And Libby probably was like watching movies and doing popcorn and stuff. Not Vincent. Vincent over there about to chew them up like a pork chop. He probably had to send him to bed because he was going to eat them up. So anyway, so Meg can't go to sleep because she's just like, I kind of don't want to go to sleep because this man might try to come in here and like tear out my jugular. So I'm going to just stay up. So she heard her parents come in. She heard her parents dismiss them. And her dad kept saying, do you want to ride home? And he was like, no, I love the night. This is like my jam. And he was like, I got my bike. I got a bike. He kept saying, I brought my bike. Well, she watches him through the window because Meg is still up. And he just darts off into the woods. And she's like, well, ain't nothing out there but a hunter's cabin. I wonder why he going into the woods. Boom. We in there, right? So going forward, since Vincent is just not Meg's jam. He's not her type of genre of music. So what she decides is she's going to make sure she's never home when he's there. She starts scheduling hanging out with Jack. She starts going to, play dates. She's going to sleepovers. She's doing any and everything not to be around, our homie Vincent. And she's like, well, Trevor liked him, so he'll be fine. Even though it's kind of like you setting your little brother up for the okie doke, but whatever. You saw what you saw, ma'am. You saw that man look at you like he the cat and you the mouse, but you're going to leave your little 6-year-old brother hanging like that. So everything was working out to her advantage until one day she sees Trevor just standing there looking in a mirror. This is probably what he was looking like. And she's like, Trevor, are you okay? And he's like, how come I can see myself in the mirror, but I can't see Vincent when he's in the mirror? And Meg is like, what do you mean? She was like, meaning I was standing behind him and I could see me, but there was no him. And so, from there, Trevor is like, I don't like him now. See, that's that, as the people say, FAFO, that's that around and find out. Trevor was over there thinking he was cool because he was a boy and he was playing dinosaur with him. Everything's all fun and games until you can't see people's reflections, Scott.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games. It's a problem. So, Meg is like, this is a problem. And she was like, okay, I'm supposed to be over at, Jack and them house having dinner and avoiding all this. But poor little Trevor started crying. So she canceled everything and she stayed with him. So as per usual, Vincent was weird, which she was trying to avoid. He sends him up to bed early as per usual. But Meg got a plan. She want to spy on him. She's like, something ain't right with this dude. So she's sitting I'm just going to show you. She's sitting on the stairs and she's kind of like, scoping him out. And there's a picture in here of him. I'm going to show it to y'all here it is. She hanging out on the stairs, kind of looking at the dude. See? She like, what you doing? And what does he have? He drinking from a flask and his red stuff. In a flask. And she's like, So she get a little scared and she fall a little bit. And so he sees her there and she's like, oh, I was just coming down to get my diary and stuff. Could you go over there and hand it to me? And I won't come all the way down. She watches him. He walks in front of the mirror and bam, ain't no reflection. Ain't nothing there. The book just walking by itself with nobody holding it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. Freaky.
So the next day she's hanging out with Jack, Meg is, and she's telling Jack like everything that happened. And Jack, I told you, Jack is me. I like this man's energy because this would be me. Jack's like, let's get to the library. I believe everything you saying. That man is a vampire. Let's get onto this library. And what we going to do is we going to get a bunch of books. we going to figure this out. And if we got to, we putting stakes through the heart. Period. The homie went all the way to the conclusion. And I likes that about him. I feel like that's me. Like, why are we sitting here waiting and wasting our time and stuff when we could just put a stake through the heart? Ain't that what it do? Ain't that? Because Jack said he watches a lot of horror movies. I feel him. So they go to the library. They learn a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff. Some good, some bad. Some right, some wrong. So Jack is like, well, let's eat this dog meat. Because they read something that said you got to eat dog meat. You got to get these different herbs that ain't nobody heard of. Then you got to like chop off heads. It was a lot. And he was like, let's just do that and get to the natural conclusion. And Meg, being the rational child that she is, was like, what if we just try the other things just to confirm that he's a vampire? Let's just confirm. And I'm going to read to you what she said, because my girl might be the more rational one here. And I'm going to say that is one of my lessons learned. I'm the cuckoo cuckoo Jack one. And Scott is more of the, Meg rational. Let's not jump to conclusions. You need one of each. You need a gas pedal and a brake. What say you, Scott?
Yeah, especially if you're going to start eating dogs.
You got to eat a dog sometimes to sacrifice to get the vampire out of there. But I'm here with it. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So we can get this man gone. Because he over here doing too much. He's giving muscle spasms, smiles. What's that about? So anyway, she says, what if Vincent is just pretending to be a vampire? I mean, what if he's just a regular kid who wants people to think he's a vampire? She's the rational one. Because he is a teenager. And sometimes teenagers go through that phase.
Yeah, I don't know how you fake not having a reflection in the mirror, but okay.
Houdini did it first.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Allegedly. I don't think Houdini could make his reflection not show, but it's who I thought of. Okay, so they try a bunch of different things. They try throwing mustard seeds down because some book told them that vampires have to count the mustard seeds. Some old Eastern European, myths or whatnot. They did a bunch of stuff. I mean, they like threw holy water at him and he's just looking at them like, I'm wrong legend, baby, wrong legend. Okay. So they were doing all these different things. She ended up hitting him in the forehead with something because she threw like a plant at him. Like they were just doing the most. They were doing the most. Also, to add to doing the most, they chewed up 5 pieces of garlic each. And nobody wanted to be around him. It was just a whole mess. So that night, Vincent is just sitting there looking at them like they crazy, which they kind of are. I would be looking at them like they're crazy. And so, he's like, So he's like, why don't y'all go ahead and go to bed early since you want to play games all day and hit me in my forehead with a thing. So what ends up happening is that night after Meg goes to sleep, here come a bat flapping around. It's just like, oh my God. Ooh, no. And so it's flapping around and it bit her. And so she's screaming and panicking. And all of a sudden her parents come in and Vincent got jokes. Vincent got jokes. He's like, Kwame, maybe you're having a bad dream. Maybe you should write about it in your diary. Like Vincent, see, this is why I would have wanted to eat the dog meat and take them out. Because see, when you don't take them out, they got jokes. So, she's just looking at him like, okay, that's cute. So again, she looks at her parents are like, go to bed. You're fine. There was no bat in your room. You crazy. She looks in the mirror and there are 2 little bite marks on her neck. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to be a vampire because you read it in that one book. Oh my God, what do I do? So she goes to sleep. The next morning, she learns, the next morning, her and Jack figure out she's not turning into a vampire because she would have had to drink some of his blood, allegedly. But when they go to figure out if Vincent's coming that night, they find out he's not. Because guess where Vincent going, Scott?
I don't know.
To hell if he don't pray. I'm kidding. That's what my grandmama used to say anytime I asked where we were going. It's a joke. It's a gag. No, he's going to the dance. Some kind of dance at the community center with the other. It's a teen dance.
Okay.
You know what happens when a vampire goes to a teen dance, right?
Probably nothing good.
He's biting people. So he goes to the teen. So Meg is like, guess what, Jack? You my date. Tag you it. You my date. We got to get to this teen dance because we got to watch Vincent because he's going to try to bite somebody. He bit me on the neck last night, clearly. And he had jokes, bad jokes. So anyway, so they end up going to the dance. And Vincent does indeed take some girl out to the back. Now, a number of things could be happening here. Any one of them could be bad. Because it couldn't just be neck bites that could happen. It could be pregnancy, STDs, anything could happen. We don't know this little boy. We don't know where he came from. We just know we saw him walking one day with a coffin. We don't know what he got. Could have rabies. We don't know. So they ended up following him outside. And guess who it was that he took out there? Guess which girl he took out there? This is a throwback.
One of the previous babysitters.
Look at Scott. This is why you gotta have Scott.
So let's see, which one would it be though? I'd say it's not the no-show because we don't know who that one is.
Mm-hmm. You down 50-50 now.
I'm gonna go with Cheesecake Girl.
Yes. Vincent was gonna bite her and get diabetes probably because she didn't sit up there and ate a whole cheesecake by herself. I know that mom was mad.
Yeah, I just figured she probably had a little more blood than the rest.
And diabetes all up in it. So anyway, so he's about to take the girl it wasn't almost. She ate the whole cheesecake. The cheesecake eater babysitter. He's taking her out to the back. Thank God for Jack and Meg. They start rustling bushes to let them know they were out there. And then they said for the rest of the night, they stuck by the 2. They didn't let them be by themselves. Because Vincent did end up biting her a little bit. She was like, oh, ow, ow. You bit me. And he was like, oh, a mosquito bit you. I was just looking at your mosquito bite. Vincent ain't good at lying. So they stayed with him the whole night. And, they saved cheesecake eating girl from becoming a vampire. So the next day, Meg and Jack are like, look, we ain't got time to be sitting here babysitting Vincent and trying to stop him from eating everybody's neck and turning everybody on the island into vampires. We kind of can figure that, yeah, he work at the blood bank, but that ain't enough. That ain't enough. Look at how much blood I got on me. That clearly won't be enough. And so he got to go out here and bite everybody, but we don't feel like babysitting him like that. So Jack makes a command decision, as he should.
Okay.
Yay. Jack's like, we gotta nail his coffin shut while he's out and about at night. So then that way he can't get into the coffin, the sun gonna come up, and then boof. I don't know what happens to vampires when the sun hits them, but we gonna let that happen to Vincent because we ain't got time to be babysitting them. So, they make a plan. And that plan is to stay up till midnight, sneak out the house, go into the woods where that hunter cabin is, find that coffin that he was carrying on one shoulder, like Ron Coleman, and put some nails in it and let him meet the sun, let him meet his fate. So that happened. So Jack is downstairs, in near her garage. Her parents actually stay up a little later. She don't get out till about 1:00 in the morning. So that's eating up a little bit of their nighttime. And so then they get lost in the woods because who the hell knows where the hunter's cabin is with no daylight, no compass, no flash. They just out there. Because these are 11-year-olds, by the way. So I get it. So by the time they finally get to the coffin, it's like 5:00 in the morning. So they get to the hunter's cabin. They're about to go in there. They raise the hammer to hit the first nail in there. And here comes Vincent. Here he comes. Just looking a mess. Spasm, smiles, and all. Bad jokes and all. And so they go hiding into the bushes. And so, Jack being who he is, the brave soul he is like, hey, you know what we got to do? You know what we got to do, Scott? Yep. You know what we got to do, y'all what?
Got to wait till he goes to sleep and drive a stake through his heart.
Nope, he didn't even think that far. No. He was like, let's just hammer him into the coffin. Now, is this where I would have went? No.
The hammer might have woke him up, but
that would have been my thought. Yeah, the hammering probably is going to wake him up. But Jackson, again, this is an 11-year-old kid. At 11, I wasn't making the best decisions. Were you? Nah. That's why you still had your parents. So what they decide to do is this. Go in there and hammer it in. But once they get in there, now Meg is like, this is a horrible idea. But she does it anyway because, again, we ain't got time to be babysitting Vincent and stopping him from biting all the people on the island and making more vampires. So they go in there. They decide to start arguing. There's no rhyme or reason. They just start arguing with each other. And Vincent wakes up and he's like, I can't rest with all this foolishness going on. And so this is where the Scooby-Doo chase comes. But a pup named Scooby-Doo Chase. Remember I showed you that? Y'all should go check it out. I love the Scooby-Doo chase. The music's always great. So Scooby-Doo chase is going on. They running. And here come my homie Jack being a brave soul. He gonna be something else when he grow up, honey. When that young man becomes a man, he gonna be something else. Because the homie was like, let me take one for the team. And he was like, they split off. And he was like, hey, come on over here. Vincent, come here. And, come here, Vincent. Come here, Vincent. So Vincent decided to go chasing him, which allowed Meg she ran back into the hunter cabin and she remembered a couple of things from when they went to the library. I know a lot of y'all, if y'all are younger out there, the library, before there was internet, honey, the library was your internet. So she remembered a couple of things. What she remembered was vampires need their dirt to rest in. So she opened up his coffin. There was dirt in there. I don't know why she bought a bag. She had a bag with her. She poured all the dirt into the bag she had. And then she ran outside the hunter's cabin, where she heard, her Jack and Vincent squabbling. And so she goes over there. She takes some garlic. She mushes it. She mushes Vincent in the face with it. He's like, ah. He can't breathe. He can't think. He can't move because it's garlic. And so they start running. And he starts running behind him or whatever. which is fine, you know. And she starts throwing like more garlic cloves behind her. He's like, yeah. This is the one thing that they know will work. So he starts running away. He's chasing them, but running away once the garlic comes. So they hear the first ferry that they can get on. And so some kind of way they make it there. They like jump off the little pipe thing, the little pier thing, jump into the thing. Now the bag that she was carrying, Meg, was kind of holding them back. And Jack kept telling her, drop the bag. And she's like, no. So in the end, like when they get on the ferry, they said they heard Vincent like, I can't sleep without my dirt. And so, you know, Jack still don't know what's going on. He's like, oh my God, you know, you're just carrying that heavy bag. Why are you doing it? And so then Meg finally tells him, like, dude, I stole the dirt out his coffin. He can go back to that coffin. He ain't got no dirt to sleep in. He got some problems. And I think there's a picture of it at the end. Well, this is the picture of him waking up. But nonetheless, so in the end, how they end up ridding themselves of him is she takes that dirt and she drops that right into that ocean. Bam. Locking him into the sunlight, baby. How's that for smart? Yes. So in the end, the end happens. So Trevor never shows back up, clearly, because he's kaput. I'm sorry. I keep saying Trevor and Vincent. Vincent, you're right. Sorry about that. Vincent never shows back up. Mom is all disappointed. She's like, that was like the last babysitter I can find. This is an homage to what we do here. So when Mom and Dad had to work late, we just started tagging along. There was a small playroom at the center that was hardly ever used. Of course, I'm obviously too old to get excited about playrooms, but Trevor had a good time. And there were always a cart full of kids' books that I can read. They made a nice change from the books at the library. Some of them even have been written in the past decade. We read kids' books too here as adults. It doesn't matter, honey, because you can get a gag out of them. So in the end, Libby falls off a horse and breaks her arm. So she had to come back early. So she took up babysitting them again. And the next year, that same summer, Meg's mom promised her, hey, next year you can go ahead and start getting paid to babysit and you can watch yourself and your little brother. So that is the end of the book. So they successfully got rid of Vincent. Bye-bye, Vincent. So, Scott, what did you learn today?
Don't hire a vampire as a babysitter.
And I think I already said my lesson learned. My lesson learned is this. You need a gas pedal and you need a brake. There should be someone with extreme bravery and somebody who's a little more thoughtful together. You need that makes a good, that makes a good mix. That's a good mix of people. Scott and I have that mix. I'm the more like crazy person and he's the more thoughtful, like maybe we should kind of slow down and not like go a little crazy. Put down what you guys think and what you guys learned. Now, before we close, I told y'all we had a soda. We have like one of those weird sodas that they have. We have Dr. Pepper Blackberry. I am not going to drink any because I'm a vampire. Or no, this is blood. This is blood. Let's pretend this is blood. Scott, that's blood.
Okay.
We're going to do a little taste test for you. Scott's over here distracted by the cat. Okay. We'll try it for you so you don't have to. Oh, it's good. I like that one.
Yeah, I do like it.
I like it. Y'all should totally get it. Get the Blackberry Dr. Pepper. Is actually good. Okay, last review, I reviewed the Coke. What was it? Orange cream?
Creamsicle, I think.
It wasn't that it was bad. It's just that I'm a diehard Coke stan. I will always have original Coke. It's like my fave. I don't care what else is going on. I don't want cherry Coke. I only want Coke Classic. That's it. But with Dr. Pepper, I'm way more forgiving. I like Dr. Pepper, but this is good.
Yeah, it's a good combination.
It's a really good combination. Yeah, especially for like summer. It has like a fruity edge to it. So with that, thank you guys for watching from wherever you are, from wherever we are to wherever you are. Peace, love, happiness always. We are now closed for business, but I'm going to do a short. Go check that out and go check out some of my other lives if you haven't already. We will see you later. Maybe I'll still be a vampire next time.